What's up, traders? Red day today. We ended up going 2 for 5. Let's get to it. All right, traders, hope everybody had a great July 4th weekend. Hopefully you were the one that found that $25 gift card in the last video. Congratulations if you were. There'll be another one at some point this week. I am paying attention to everything that goes on to the channel, especially how many likes get hit per video throughout the week. So that always helps encourage me to do those gift card giveaways. So today, not going to be doing the live trades, sorry in advance, but we are going to do a recap. There was a lot of tickets, didn't feel like going through and editing them. I know they're important, but it's already getting kind of late, and to be completely honest, just not feeling it. So our first trade was on VNET. We actually started this one. I believe we started WB while we were in VNET. VNET, we were definitely a little bit earlier. Thankfully, we sized into this one correctly. We waited for the back end to really kind of hit it with some shares. And up there, you'll see we started this thing with 30, 30, 30, 30, and then we hit it with 60 up here when we felt like it was the back end. We were risking off high of day. Was looking to hit it for another 60, but this thing really started to just kind of drop off, so we didn't really get a chance to add again. Didn't really ever get a bounce either. So came down. Our average was sitting here at 29. I think it was 58, like right around here. And I was looking for this to drop. We had an order sitting out here at 29.43. And it came down to us multiple times. Like, it kept hitting. We were on the bid. It actually went through at one point. It printed on the other side of 43. It printed at like 40, 41 or something like that. And I was getting a little aggravated. And I told myself, after, having all this patience, being way early, I was not about to let this thing come down, find support at 29.50, or well, at least go through it, be a little bit of a fake out through 29.50 and then go back up. And as you can see, it tried a couple times on this one candle. And then on this second candle, you can see it did end up going back through. When it came back through 50, I ended up hitting it. We ended up getting a cover at 55 for 75% of our shares. So we only got like 3 cents on that amount, and it was a little frustrating because it would have made this a nice trade if it would have hit us and filled us at that 43 area, but unfortunately it didn't want to. So we held the rest, and we were looking to do the 75, 60, 100% scale out, and it did finally get through, got under VWAP, and we ended up covering some more out there around 29, and then we were trying to be super patient with these last shares that we had, and right here it finally felt like it was finding some support around that 28.50 area. So we went ahead and took it off, and as you can see, it did try to go back up there, but ultimately it ended up failing, and now it kind of made us look a little stupid for these remaining 18 shares. We could have made some decent money if for some reason we were still holding them all the way into to the lunch hour. Over to WB. This one was the frustrating one. This is the one we ended up red. This is the one that made us red for the day, and is what it is. Back to VNET real quick. Again, just previous resistance all the way down here. You can see it finally did get down there, but pretty solid move. And we were just looking for 50% of the move back down. Just I want to make sure I go through everything that we're looking at here, just so you guys can see, and you'll see why I tried to be patient with this. But again, we started this way early, and that's why I ended up taking most of my position off here. It wasn't about to let this thing go all the way back against me and end up close to a max loss. Just because we were being a little greedy. So we've had that happen before, and if we had started this position up here, we would have been looking to take profits there anyway. So there's absolutely no wrongdoing there in what we did. But as you can see, that 50% line there, I had it mentally in my head. That's why we ended up taking some more shares there, and then we were ultimately seeing if it wanted to fail more, and that is what happened. So WB. Same thing, previous resistance here, really nice move. This is the chart that I actually felt most comfortable trading. Nice previous resistance, came up, hit the top, and we actually added this candle lower was us adding to the backside, and because we felt like we found the top here at the $0.50, and unfortunately it said no, we're not done, and we went higher. But let's draw our fibs here real quick. So as you can see, 50% was all the way down here. We never even got close. VWAP was all the way down here near that 37.50, and that's what we were looking for. But unfortunately, it's not what we got. And as you can see, this thing just continued, but I wanted to try to zoom in here. We started to see like a descending triangle, kind of. You can kind of call it a flag or whatever, but I'm going to just be straight up honest with you. This was a complete revenge trade. I felt like it was still extended. We never really got any kind of a pullback, so I started to build into this, and I said, I'm just going to risk off high of day. And so we got one last ad right before it wanted to try high of day, and then it tried high of day. And I tried to reverse my position here, but it skipped my order. So high of day was at 72, I think it was. Let me see, 69. Maybe it was at 70. I had the order at 70, and I tried to switch, and it wouldn't go through. Once I realized that, I ended up canceling the other order and just covering out of the full position and just letting it go. So that was a little unfortunate because, as you can see, we could have possibly scaled out of this position, and it would have worked out. But yeah, that's ultimately it ended up not working out twice, and that ended up being our big loser, which I'll show you guys the total amounts here. But going on to our last two trades, SQ was another one. We had a nice little run here, and then we got a nice little extension on this candle. We started to build our position here, and ultimately, I think let me check SQ. I don't remember 51. Yeah, so we started it here because it felt like it was topped, and then we got a little bit more of a push. We added, and then it tried to pull back, and we were up a decent amount. I was looking for this to come back down and retest this area, so we were looking for 50% of this move. So if we draw the fib line here, you'll see that the 50% line was just under 125 at 124.51. So we were looking for that break, and we did get down to 124.42. So it actually did come down and test it. So a little confused why I didn't take some off there. Not going to lie. Maybe I was being a little greedy, looking at my P&L from the loss on WB. And yeah, so I might have to write that in the notes that I should have been taking some profit there. So anyways, it ends up going high of day, and we stop out. You can actually see there's a red triangle underneath this green triangle because when it popped up, we actually added, assuming this was going to be like a sloppy seconds, bouncy ball type effect, and head down to VWAP. Obviously, it didn't, and we ended up stopping out the full amount there at high of day. It decided to keep running. So now we got a completely secondary move. Would I enter this trade if I was never in this trade? Yes, look how extended it is. We got a nice extension through previous resistance. It decided to keep extending, so we got to add in there, and we took off 75% at that previous resistance. So I was pretty happy with that. We were risking the rest off of high of day. It popped up, kind of let it do its thing. Obviously, we're still risking off high of day for the rest of these shares. I decided to add back in those shares on this pop, looking for the bouncy ball effect. We took those shares back off, looking to just hold the remaining shares that we were using anyways for even lower, down towards VWAP. But ultimately, this thing just wanted to keep finding support in this area here. So I basically said, if it wants to it tried to pop back up here and failed, and it tried to come back down one more time. So I said, okay, if it wants to go through that area here at 126.14, I'm just going to take it off. And so that's exactly what we did. And as you can see, it hasn't come back down even close. I mean, it came back down and tested it, but as you can see, that was a pretty clear resistance that was trying to form there. It didn't. Clear support that formed here. So I basically put a range order in and said, if it wants to go above there, I'm done. If it wants to flush down and try this support down here at 124.50 again, I will also be done. I think the order was at 127.45 or 75. Yep, I had it at 75, and we just couldn't get it. We couldn't get down through 125 again, so we ended up getting stopped out there, and as you can see, it ended up being a good one because it never came back down. So ultimately, we ended up down $39.12, and here is the pop out. You will see SQ. We were actually up around $30 on this after the loss. So unfortunately, like I said, if this one would have popped down through, we would have probably been pretty close to break even on the day. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. VNET was just a good trade. We were nice and patient on it. It would have been nice if we would have held on to some of those shares. That could have been a really nice trade. And WB, just 0 for 2 on it. Didn't work. The second trade probably should have never been in it, so we ended up paying for that one a little bit. And we also would have been pretty close to break even if we never took that second trade, because I think the first trade we lost like 50, and I want to say the second one we lost the other 32 or so. So a little unfortunate. Another red day, but ebb and flow, right? It's another day. It's another statistic, and we're going to move on to tomorrow and see if we can't just bounce back. And hey, it's part of it. You're going to lose, and the fact that I went 2 for 5 and I'm fairly close to I wouldn't say fairly close to break even, but the fact that I am only down as much as I am, it kind of shows you that, hey, we're not doing too bad. Because on SQ, usually when you end up with a loser on a ticker, I'm fighting. It would probably take 2 or 3 times to get back to break even on that ticker. But not only did I get past break even, but we ended up green on it in just one trade. So same thing would have happened with WB. If that thing breaks down and goes to VWAP, it's a completely different story, even if the first trade just works out. Again, you got to take your wins, you got to take your losses, and you have to realize that it's a long game. This is a marathon, not a sprint, and that's what we have to remember every single day. We have to push ourselves to remember we're in this for the long haul. So don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. Always appreciate that support. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave those down below, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.